So, quarantine was a thing. If you're watching this during 2020, when it happened, sucks to suck. But if you're watching it after 2020, good job, you survived. But maybe quarantine lasted after 2020. I don't really know the future. But personally for me, quarantine is kind of over. I mean, I'm not rubbing myself against every random person like I used to. Of course not. But now I started seeing my friends like every day. Stop. Okay, good. Look, I don't know if this video is going to be done in time, so just to clarify, I'm doing this during June 2020. I know some people are going to be like, Daniel, that's not safe. You could die. But I'm still being safe. I'm still being cautious and everything. But you guys should still be safe during these hard times. If this video comes out after quarantine, this will be really embarrassing. And if I die, I'm not sorry. I know you guys will obviously miss me, but I'm not sorry. I've had my fun. I would be okay with dying. I wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, okay, I've had my fair share of fun. Now for the topic of the video. Boredom. You have to admit, we were all at least bored at some point during quarantine. I mean, this just proves my idea that having robots to do all the hard work for us is a pretty dumb idea. We just have way too much free time. We're really lucky that we have so much available to us, at the touch of a finger. Just imagine the stay-at-home order when phones, Animal Crossing, and electronics weren't a thing. What were we supposed to do? Actually interact with our family? Now we have stuff like video games, YouTube, Animal Crossing, Netflix, Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's obvious I fell in love with Animal Crossing. I mean, I had a lot of video games to keep me occupied. Like I stated, Animal Crossing. But that wasn't the only game that kept me occupied. The main game that kept me occupied was Teletubbies 3, Revenge of the Baby Son. Okay, fine, it was Minecraft. I know, shocker. One thing I noticed about being in quarantine is that it showed and changed some parts of me that I never even knew existed. My body craves interesting stuff. And since the most eventful thing in my life is going to sleep, I've been having to crave my own interesting things. Things that shouldn't be interesting are now interesting, but in all the wrong ways. Imagine if you stub your toe against a corner. Normally you would feel pain and say stuff like, ow. Wow, an exaggerated person would go ah, ow, ow, ah. With me, on the other hand, though, now I apparently go. Or if my brother does something funny or stupid, I will think it's the funniest thing in the world and will straight out laugh out loud for a maniac for 3 minutes straight. And it goes a little bit like this. I think I might have been drugged. I'm pretty sure that's the reason I act like this. Or it's my hormone. Another magical thing I've noticed is that while being bored, your brain creates and thinks of the best ideas possible. The reason people in the shower get such good ideas. And that's why I say all politicians should live in showers from now on. Vote me, President of the United States of America! So you know how since forever, we humans have been evolving? And it just seems like we haven't been evolving much. Except we have. Just look at your hand, will ya? Well, first of all, clean it off, alright? But just look at a certain finger. The pinky. The pinky is being de-evolved. Is that the right term? I don't know the right term. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is that the human body seems to deem the pinky useless. Okay, enough of that. I overused that joke. I wonder what the human body will look like in 1,000 years. Wait, that means humans will look like cartoon characters one day! Okay, you can clearly see that quarantine has taken quite a toll on me. For some people it barely affected them. I mean, quarantine didn't affect me that much. I'm still the normal person I am. Well, as normal as I can be, but... It's just that quarantine has affected the times when I'm alone. In bed. or the entire day, but we don't talk about that. But thanks to this crippling alone time, I've been able to revisit some embarrassing moments that I don't want to remember. Like the time when I hit a kid in school with my clothes. Okay, let me explain. But to explain, I need to wear shoes, so... It was the end of school, and I was walking out of my class with my friends. And for some reason, I was kicking my feet up high. I don't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I was like being a ninja or something. And for some dumb reason, I was wearing those shoes that are like slip-on. You know, like the one you just put your feet in. Yeah, those. And of course, without thinking, I kicked very hard. And my shoe went flying and hit some poor 6th grader. Wonder how that must have felt. Gee, I love being a 6th grader with all the new responsibilities that come with it. Gee-oh, dilly-dally, being a 6th grader. I feel like my brain has just evolved into a creature of laziness and weirdness. Oh, and memes. You can't forget memes. If you want an accurate representation,
Representation.
better.
If you want a better representation of how the inside of my brain changed from BC, before COVID, strap in.
Here's a picture of my brain BC. And it looks pretty normal. Okay, yeah. Right. And now, to show you my brain now. Welcome to hell. I mean my brain. This picture perfectly describes this video. A mess. Isn't it awesome how staying at home and not socially interacting can change some people? I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating. Well, kind of, but quarantine has changed us all in some ways. Even if you're like, of course, quarantine didn't affect me. I'm perfect. It changed you. No offense. Maybe quarantine impacted us in a negative or a positive way. But one thing I can say for sure is that now that we're all stuck inside, we don't have to be ashamed of our new quirky habits we all made. No? Just me? Oh.